The title of this podcast is Train Your Mind. This is something that when I picked up Dr. Seuss's book, I like, wow, let's do this. And the reason I want to do it is because I was spending so much time, complaining and judging and being so at the effect of my goals. And there's nothing wrong with having goals, except that when they take over your life and you miss out on all the goodness that is in life, that if you don't achieve your goal, you feel diminished, when you don't have time for other things. I knew that there was an issue for me regarding goals when I had no time to practice self-care or well-being. And I always made time to exercise, but I'm talking about not only that, but I'm talking about the internal workout. When I didn't know that there was an opportunity to work on something that would bring me even greater joy. And what that is training this up here to not control my life, training my mind, not training my, becoming aware that I am not my mind. No, I control my mind. I'm the observer who programs it and trains it what to do. When I was unaware or didn't have a practice, what would happen is I would confuse my mind with who I was or who I am. And in doing so, something would pop up because it's part of the human condition, a narrative. I would get involved in it. And then I would start judging people and situations. I would start to be at the effect of my preferences. I like this. I don't like this. I like you. I don't like you. I don't know about you. All those things. This shouldn't be happening. And when I say that out loud, doesn't it sound like a crazy person, right? And I would literally be doing that and following it. It would say, look here, there's a laser, there's a ball, go, go, go. And I would go, I'd be darting all over the place. Oh, there's a problem over here. What? They didn't show up for work. I can't believe this. What? We're under resourced. How can they be doing this? What? I mean, it'd be nonstop. Nonstop. I wake up in the morning, the first thing, even before my eyes wake up, I'm ready to rub the sleep out of my eyes. It always like game on. It'd be there waiting for me. We've been waiting for you all night to wake up. And now you're here. Let's start being anxious and worried or just obsessive thinking. Let's start right now. And to be off to the races. And I had no idea that I was not my mind, that I was the observer that was watching this behavior that is part of the human condition kind of play out. And that I could lean back and not get involved with it. And by leaning back, I could start to train it. Because I mean, what is the mind? It's software, right? I mean, it's a machine, and I get to program it and put what's in it. Like, so for an example, when it comes to exercise, for people that say I can't get up in the morning, okay, you can, because your mind is the boss of you. But what if I say to my mind, we're getting up in the morning, no matter what? And that's what I've told my mind. And so many years ago, I started saying, if I say I'm getting up in the morning to work out, I'm getting up in the morning to work out, period. That's it. And so I don't even wait 1 second for my mind to start talking. I'm up and at 'em. When I started doing the practice 7 years ago, what the incentive was, I did not want to experience suffering in the morning. I want to have a morning that was free of the negative chatter. I wanted to be able to experience an hour of the day with not complaining about what wasn't right or anything like that. I want to have more peace in my life. And the practice became an approach, a tool that would help me tame my mind and train it to do what I wanted to do. I've said this on many occasions, that one of the things that I wanted to do was I had developed this ability to complain as if it was like breathing to me. And I said to myself, if I could do that, why can't I be kind like that? I wanted to be kind, like it was breathing for me, like it was not even an effort. Like I've heard people say to me, like, "Man, Keith, the way you show up, it must be exhausting for you." No, it's not at all, because I trained myself for it's automatic right now. I don't even think about it. It's just that's Keith. He's kind. Whereas before people would say, "That's Keith. He's going to be complaining about something. Something won't be to its liking." And now that was exhausting. But when I was doing it, I was so identified with it that I wasn't aware of how exhausting the complaining was for me and how much suffering it created for anybody else who had to be on the receiving end or the recipient of those complaints. But once I stepped back and I stopped complaining, I was like, oh, wow, that's a tough way to live. Or people that worry, like the heaviness of worrying. Why would a person, you know, say, I need this and this and this to stop happening or be a certain way so I can stop worrying about it? When you have no control over the things that you think cause you worry, why would you work on the outside? Instead, the more effective thing and the only thing that works, I argue, is that work on being a person who doesn't worry. And so I made that my thing. I'm going to let go of complaining, and instead, I'm going to be kind. Now, that's the gift that keeps giving to me. And hopefully it's a benefit to other people. But I had to get to the point to where I was going to stop confusing my mind with who I am. I'm the boss in here. I mean, not my mind. It's not. And that was a great tool for me. I'm a big believer in what you feed yourself, that's what your output is going to be. If I want to be kind, what do I take in? I take in things that are inspiring to me, that are about service and compassion and empathy and gratitude. So it's no wonder that what comes out of me is kindness. What comes out of the people that are in my life is kindness, because that's what they do. If I were to take in like the toxicity that is often present in like news headlines or news broadcasts, or what this person is saying about somebody else, and I'm against this, I'm for this, and all this other stuff that puts people in adversarial positions. If I were to take that in, that's what I would put out. I mean, I would be anxious. I would be worried. I would be pessimistic and cynical about the world. I would judge my colleagues. I would judge my family members, anyone who doesn't look or think like me. That's what I would put out. So what I feed myself is super, super important. And so I don't feed myself junk. I feed myself healthy goodness like all the time. And in doing so, I'm training my mind. I'm training it. The minute that I want to say that this is something that's important for my life experience, the minute that I say that, I started looking at, okay, what are the things that I need to do to train this to make sure we do that on a regular basis, to make sure I do that on a regular basis. And I start training it. People say, oh man, I just can't make time to go work out. That's the mind talking. And the minute that you identify with that, you won't go work out, period. And it's funny, I look at people in the past when I would say I couldn't do something, like be out in nature because I'm too busy. I look at people that are busier than me, have families, great responsibilities. Somehow they find time, super involved in the community. Somehow they find time. I mean, it's amazing that there are examples of what I say I can't do, that people are doing it like it's nothing. And one of those happened when I was in the military, complaining up a storm while I was stationed in Yuma, and I was over in the Middle East. And there was this guy who was kind all the time. We were in the exact same situations, life-threatening situations. We were in places that we wouldn't have chosen. What he wanted to do, drive coast to coast in this VW bug, stopping at national parks along the way. That's what we want to do. Where did I want to be? In Tennessee. Instead, we're in Yuma, Arizona, where we've never been around dry heat like that. The whole 4 years there, guy didn't complain once. Smile, kind, and you might say, or somebody may say, man, he was just putting on. It's hard to put on for 4 years in those kind of situations and we were around each other all the time. Me, what did I do? I did exactly what I trained myself to do all those years leading up to it, which only got worse after. I complained the whole time. Troublemaker in the workplace. Did my job, got promoted on time, but I did what I trained myself to do, which was that. So over these last 7 years of doing the practice, everything that shows up that causes me suffering, I go right to the person or the part of me that's responsible for that, my mind. It's like, oh, okay, I'll get a software glitch here. I break out the keyboard and I start programming. Okay, here's what we're doing next. We want that thing that bothers me, that bothers my mind, to have this narrative. We want that to keep happening. And okay, so why do we want to keep happening? The reason we want to keep happening is because we want to develop the capacity, the ability to not be bothered by it. So that whenever it happens, it doesn't affect whether we're happy or unhappy. All we want is to be peaceful in the face of it. I start working on that. And so I start training my mind. And every day I get more and more practice with it. Why? Because life still shows up. There's things that I've experienced a lot of times, had a lot of reps at. Oh, I'm hitting home runs on. I'm hitting home runs. There are other times where I'm striking out. Keep serving me that pitch though, because that part of me that's bothered by that, it's got to go. We're training my mind right now. And so keep doing it. Keep doing it. Oh, show me that defense again. Oh, okay, I didn't see that. Okay, great. Let's work on that skill. And I just keep doing that. And so I start training my mind. So that my default settings move away from complaining and judging and having preferences and expectations to accepting, being grateful, being gracious, being kind, being compassionate, being loving, being of service. I've trained myself to where those are now my default settings. And guess what has happened along the way? I don't experience a lot of suffering. I don't worry. I don't get anxious. I don't stress out about situations. None of that occurs to me anymore. And let's say, that I have another 30 years to live. How sweet is that? That if I stay on this path, keep doing the things that are training my mind, that this becomes the normal experiences of my life. A lot of joy, a lot of peace. What if that's it? Or I can revert back to the old behavior of complaining, judging other people, being unhappy when my preferences aren't satisfied. When they are satisfied, thinking about how fleeting that is because they won't be satisfied in the next moment. I could do that for the next 30 years too. But why would I? So once I learned that the key was training my mind, everything changed. And it's been beautiful. So I invite you to do the work that's necessary to train your mind. Initially, it's going to be effortful, but before you know it, it would become effortless. So ask yourself, the way that I experience life today, whether that's worry, stress, anxiety, obsessive thinking, if you would experience that for another year, would that be okay with you? And then 10 years after that, would that be okay with you? Or you can do the work now and be fully committed. And then the next year is different. 10 years in the future, different. Everything could be different. That's a choice. So I invite you, train your mind.